right. What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh
we
man.
are trying. Don't tell me you just got up, bro. I know you've been up.
Nah, man. Nah. I've been up for a while. I just took a little nap though, so I was like,
yeah. How old is your youngest?
8. Yeah, she's 8.
Okay, yeah, she'd be up ready to go. No,
my son actually the one that's like the early riser. So yeah,
okay.
they're 8. Yeah, she likes getting her sleep as much as she can possibly get.
Oh,
yeah.
She must have the dad genes. She had the dad genes. Dad genes.
Right.
Musician gene.
Yeah, she does. Like she tends to be a lot like me. And I think he's a lot like his mom. Yeah.
That's all good. Well, listen, we are here bright and early. Well, it's not that bright, but it is, I guess, for some musicians, right? They're not even up yet or just getting up. We are going to try to attack the daytime though, and
this is good.
Do some early. I'm already liking it, man. I'm already liking it. So I think there's plenty of there's all musicians don't sleep till 12 or 1 and
right.
They're actually, but this is not just a musician show. This is for anyone who wants to learn about our life and what we do and how we kind of go about things and some of the interesting things that happen as a working musician and the stories. And so that's what we're here. That's what we try to do is shed a little light on our community and bring some people in that don't get a chance to, because sometimes we're not always the most open and talkative at the gig. And, there are various reasons for that. Right. But this is a chance to kind of hear where we're coming from and kind of what we have to say on a lot of different topics. So we're not expecting a big turnout, but if you're new to the show or are just first checking us out, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this show, share this podcast. We are still locked out, and it's actually my fault. I haven't attacked the Spotify. We have stuff on Spotify, but we haven't uploaded there in a while. So we are locked out of there. I got to figure out what's going on. So we can get our audio, so we can get the audio stuff back happening. And I'm gonna, I was checking out one of the episodes. I feel like I'm too loud here, so I'm gonna turn down a little bit. And I think that's gonna be better. So
yeah, that's cool.
I got a loud voice anyway. So, but subscribe to the channel and let us know what you guys think. Leave us comments, and you can also follow us on our Facebook page or our Instagram, and you can always check out kind of what we're doing, man. So the way we normally start the show is I do a little call out and I say, welcome to Local Musicians.
XP.
Oh, that was late, bro. Nah, it
was late. I think it's a lag between you and I. Yeah. That's what it's a lag. You don't think so?
Nah, not a lag, man. Not a lag.
Yeah, I got a reference.
You already used that one, I think. You already used that excuse. Well, the thing is, Tyrone's waiting for it, man. So it's like the I don't know if you've ever seen the Guy Fieri, what is it called? It's not the Diners, Drive-Ins, and Die. It's on Food Network. It's the other one where the chefs battle in the grocery store, and he has this thing about when he tells them they have to go shopping for their food to cook, right, for whatever the competition is. But he has this thing that he gives them a countdown, 3, 2, 1, go. But he always tries to disguise it. in a way. And so it's pretty because he'll work it into actually what he's talking about, and he throws people off. So they're sitting, the clock is starting, and he's already said it. It's kind of funny. You kind of have to see it, but it's kind of something like that, man. So I'm not trying to catch you off guard or anything. But it's all good, man. It's all good. So but let's get some little housekeeping out the way. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about Latin rhythms, okay, myself and Frankie Quinones, as you can see here, can I make this bigger, bro? Can I make it bigger? So let's see what I got to do here. Oh, I know what I got to do. Okay. I'm about to pull a Falgoo here. Try to figure out the, let's see here. Add to this. There we go. All right. It only took me two moves though. It took him 10 to figure out the big. But this is our introduction to Latin rhythms. This is going to be sponsored by Local Musicians XP, but this is going to be a masterclass on an introduction to Latin rhythms. This is going on in Hapeville, Georgia, and this is going to be at the Academy Theater Sunday, August 10th. There is a QR code on the flyer. The flyer is up on my Facebook, also up on my Instagram, and it's in my Instagram bio. The link for the tickets. It's going to be at 6:30. Admission is $20, $15 for students. Highly recommend this for non-drummers, right? Vocalists, instrumentalists. Come learn what these rhythms are called. Learn how they sound. Ask questions. We're going to be breaking down a lot of stuff. And you know what, man? Frankie might even salsa for y'all, man. He might even dance a little bit for you. So, you just never know what to expect. But we are going to be breaking down the basic, a lot of the folkloric rhythms that a lot of the other stuff, more complex things, are built off of. But these are the things that you really need to know. So, introduction to Latin rhythms, and that's going to be August 10th at the Academy Theater, man. So what you think about that, man? Do you think that's an important thing for non-drummers to know what freaking rhythm they want on their song?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like I've always heard, people talk about, like, certain musicians talk about the clave and the different rhythms and everything like that. And at first, like, I'll just be like, man, who cares? Whatever. I'm just gonna play over it anyway. But
that's hilarious, man. That's so funny.
But no, there's a whole program behind, and there's meaning behind it. And I've seen some of the different just drum groups just like practice around one rhythm and have a whole thing. It's pretty interesting. So just to respect what you. I don't say just jump on some just Latin stuff and just I'm just playing some Latin stuff. Like, no, man,
We're gonna talk about that, man.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, respect where, yeah.
I mean, and it's not that you have to know every single little, nuanced thing, but know the difference between, the Brazilian rhythms and the Cuban rhythms. I think that's a big one because that one kind of gets lumped into just lumped together a lot. So I think it's helpful because the feels are different, and we're gonna explain a little bit about that. And show some examples of going from one to the other so that people could hear the differences between what the Brazilian, some of the Brazilian rhythms sound like versus some of the Cuban rhythms. And then we're going to also work in some rhythms from Frankie's homeland, which is Puerto Rico, and maybe a couple other little places. But it's going to be real, like I said, just real basic, man. And we're going to have some fun. Special guest, shout out to the Aya Drummers are going to be opening up the show. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
That's going to be nice.
Yeah. And then the second thing is the feedback. The second feedback sessions. We had a great one a few weeks ago. It's going to be at the Academy Theater again. So this is going to be the second installment of where we get high school and some college kids together to play. And we assign them material that they have to play. And then we sort of just, give them some feedback, some critique, and some things that maybe they could have done better, or, hey, it sounds great. A lot of what was really cool was a lot of the cats really came prepared for the last session. You could tell they studied the recording, which is what we ever talk about, right? Is y'all study these recordings. It's going to give you. I mean, I don't want to say you don't need school because
right.
you do, but I'm saying study these recordings, man. This is going to give you.
Yeah, that's the homework.
Like, why is that so? I guess it's just they haven't grown up in that world of having music as just a regular part of their everyday life, listening to music as a part of their regular everyday life. So they just don't, they don't connect with that as much. Is that what you think about that?
I think it's a generational thing. And I'm not just talking about their generation. Like, for me, I've been reflecting on this a lot lately, but just how I got into bebop, how I got in, just like I was lucky enough to be around it when I was a kid, just because my older brother plays saxophone, and he would be practicing Charlie Parker stuff. But like the real disconnect is like the fact that I grew up with verse, chorus, bridge, that song form. And the first time when I had to learn, when I started getting interested in bebop, it's like, okay, I can understand the melody on the top. But then what happens afterwards, when they start soloing, because I wasn't used to walking bass lines, with current day music, and I wasn't used to AABA as a song form. So it's like, I remember the first time I was counting from 1 to 32, and I would get lost in the count. Then I have to go back and start over again. And it's like, okay, I'm counting. And that moment when I finally realized, oh, okay, so this is where it starts over again, and for me, it was kind of abstract.
Right.
But I had to really, I had to take baby steps, just learning this stuff. And this is when I was 12 years old, but I had to take those baby steps just to really get different parts of it. And then it's finally one day, I was kind of perceiving everything and understanding what was going on with the music, and started to notice more stuff. And so it's if you don't grow up, there was a whole generation that grew up with Broadway, Tin Pan Alley type songs, and they were used to that song form. But I would say in our era, by the time the 70s came along, we didn't know, growing up in that era and beyond, we didn't have a really relationship with that AABA form back in the day. And so it was kind of foreign if you, and so if you're going to get into the music, you kind of have to immerse yourself into, not only just listening to the songs, but just really, try to learn more about the culture of that time, and understand why things were that way. So that, it paid. Like you just and then we have the recording, so like that's the lucky thing about us now, that we can, really be able to reference things.
Let's flesh this out a little bit. I know we want to get to our topic, which is just talking about AI, and AI is here. But this is an important subject because I think you hit it. You hit it right on the head, dude. It's like we grew up, in the 70s, the 80s. So for us, what we learned as far as music is concerned, it's like pop song form, right? It's verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge. There are some similarities to sometimes to a 32 bar form, and which is like standard form in, I guess you could say, jazz, but we learned we never really counted, had to figure out like how many bars we were playing. I never ever thought about that. What we were doing was we were following the lyric, because there's a vocal, so we're following the lyric and you're following the melody. Now, in jazz, obviously there is a melody, and this is why I always encourage my students is, if you learn the melody, you will never be lost in these tunes, regardless of how many bars is where and all that kind. If you know how the melody fits, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be okay. That's why it's especially drummers study the melodies, man. Study the melody. But to get back to what you were saying, man, like, yeah, it was completely. Now you were fortunate, man, because you said by 12 you were like kind of checking out like AABA form, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know anything about that till I was well into my 20s. Like,
wow,
I had never really played jazz before. So I'm literally learning everything at the same time. But once I kind of figured that out, I was like, oh, okay. So a lot of these tunes, it's kind of the same structure. You just have different chord changes and you have different melody and whatever else is different. But once you kind of figure that out, it's like, oh, okay. So, but that's really, really interesting what you said. And I think that we sometimes gloss over that, like, like these young kids should just get it, but it's not that easy. It really isn't that easy,
and so if you're gonna get into it, you kind of have to really, really pay attention and study and get acclimated to, this different type of sound, and study just get into it, like listen to the music and study and compare, and like, how does this bass player play versus this bass player, and oh, this drummer, has a kind of just a more laid back feel versus this one kind of tend to be on top of the beat, and just know the tendencies, working with different people and what to expect. And then, that's, to me, that's just, you just got to listen. Like, I was lucky because my brother, when I was in the 7th grade, he started like getting a CD, like he started his CD collection, his jazz CD collection. Like, he was fresh out of college and he was, trying to learn how to play. And so I just used to, after school every day, I used to just go in his room, put the headphones on, and stay there for about like 2 or 3 hours just listening to music. And he had all the jazz stuff. He had some fusion stuff. But like I came into playing the saxophone like Grover Washington. Like that was my thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like,
Mm-hmm.
but through him, I was able to start listening to Coltrane and Bird, like a lot of Bird stuff, Clifford
Mm-hmm.
Brown.
Mm-hmm.
That was school for me. Like that was my after school program. Like every day,
Yep.
just
Yep.
listening.
A lot of us come in through the back door or backdoor channels, right? Like it's either what we used to call contemporary jazz, called smooth jazz now, but like the more contemporary jazz or fusion. I was introduced to in high school. A friend of mine gave me some. We were, he was really into guitar players, and his best friend was a student at Berklee College of Music at the time. So
Okay.
he was into all of the fusion guitar players. This is like 80. This is like in the 80s, man. So this is like, Alan Holdsworth and Steve Morris was another. Pat Metheny. Even though Pat Metheny was he's not really a fusion, but it was in that instrumental, that instrumental sort of way of thinking, right? So he introduced me to some of that, and then I found John Scofield and Mike Stern, and then through those that's where I kind of learned about, like, oh, Scofield played with this cat Miles Davis. Oh, let me go check. Okay, let me go check this cat out, And Stern played with Miles, and so I was like, so that was like how I kind of got into you muted, hang on, you're muted. There you go. You just muted yourself. That's how I got into, learning about straight ahead stuff, man. Was through that,
Yeah, my back door was hip hop.
Yeah, samples. Right. Yep.
Yeah, like matter of fact, like I was at home one day and a Gangstar video came on. And it was like dun 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 dun, and I was just like, I heard the bass line, like I couldn't get that out of my head. I was like just singing it like everywhere I went. And my brother one day, he was just like, Daryl, he's like, where'd you get that from? And I was just like, oh man, this song I was listening to, he was just like, that's Night in Tunisia. And I was just like, what? And like when he played Night in Tunisia, I was like, wow, like that's crazy,
and that blew that's like whoa, this actually came from this.
Right.
So
yeah.
And, this is a great. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm saying I learned a lot of jazz songs, like from listening to early, like 80s, late 80s, early 90s hip hop, like, and and I would, now you can go and find all of the songs, like go to whosample.com and find everything.
Right.
And I still do that now. Like I did a whole thing with Tribe Called Quest where I went and researched all of their samples, and it's just real interesting.
We'll do a show on that, because I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that too, and give some, I think, again, any key, I call them keys, right? That's what one of my teachers used to say to me. He's like, he'd be like, Burroughs, you see that door right there? Like, that's it. That door is locked. You're gonna need a key to open the door, right? So, yeah. Well, if you ain't got that key, you ain't getting through that door, right? Yeah. It's like, well, that's what I'm trying to give you, some keys. Oh man. God bless Keith Copeland. All right, man. So cool. Well, we'll talk more about
segue.
Huh? Okay. Well, you want to do a segue to the topic?
Well, yeah. Speaking of listening,
okay.
I never thought, man. I never thought that we would be able to load up a track and split it down to stems.
Dude. Now,
oh my gosh,
the topic at hand. The topic at hand. Now, this is just going to be an introduction to this topic because I know that the other third of this, my partner here on Local Musicians XP, Mr. Tyrell Jackson, got a lot to say about AI.
Oh, okay.
So,
oh man,
but I want to get the party started, man, because I came up on something yesterday. I was, it's just scrolling Instagram or whatever, and some app comes up. Now, I didn't click on it because if you click on it, you're gonna have a million of the same thing that's in you. So I figured that out. I figured out how to cheat the system, dude. So what you do,
okay,
don't click on it. Okay, look at the name of whatever it is. Go to your search bar and just put that, and then just put that in there, and go directly to whatever their page is, right? And then look at it there, and you won't get spammed. But if you click that if they run an ad or something like that, and you click on that thing, a million of whatever that. Oh, you like this? Okay, you know how it is. So.
Right.
Anyway, so I looked at this thing, and it was this some girl singing and changing her voice into sounding like a saxophone, as if that's like that was that was a revelation, like. Right. Oh, look, I can change my, and actually, so she did a couple things before that. She played like what was, I guess, supposed to be like a demo, right? And of her voice against a track, right? Now, to me, when I heard it, because it was kind of raw, it actually sounded fine to me, because but then she's like, she does the angry face, or the I don't like that, right? Changes it again to where what? Now everything is perfect, everything is in key, everything is like, and I was just like, oh wow. So I don't know, I can't remember the name of this thing, but it just, and then the other thing, what I just talked about, where the she can change your voice into whatever sound she wants and all this. And I'm just going, man, this is crazy. So there's that side of AI, right? And then there's the side where you just said that we love, which is like Moises, the apps where you can take a track, and is a trip about that. Is especially like, man, if you load up let's say a track from the 60s or the 70s, right? So they're not dealing with multi-track yet. So when you load that into your Moises or whatever you're using, you have options of how you kind of want to split the track up, right? So normally it's just bass, guitar, vocal, drums, whatever, like the basic shit, right? So, but what's funny is that you'll hear other instruments on the drum track, or other instruments that are mixed into the vocal or whatever, because that's how they kind of had to do stuff, right? By the time they're mixing, they're trying to do all of this to get, I don't know how many instruments. So they're bouncing down. Like, that's a term. How many young cats even know what that is? Bouncing down. Y'all know what that means? When you had to bounce down, bro. I did a record, man, 8-track, bro. We had 8 tracks. This is in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Bro, we bounced down so many times, bro. By the time we were like, oh man.
Was it cassette 8-track?
No, we had a Tascam. We had it was a Tascam half quarter inch.
Okay. Yeah, man.
And we were, and then we would be like, okay, man, that's cool. Let's bounce it down to track number 1. And then next thing you know, you got Oh my gosh! It just the funny story that we could tell.
Right.
Eating in the house. What's up, man? How you doing, brother? Says they can. Let's see. So this is in what we were talking about when you're searching something. They can retarget the searches and website visits as well. But yeah, the retarget capabilities are insane. That's true. I don't get spammed though as much when I go to the search rather than.
Shoot, they use the AI for that.
I know they are, but what I'm saying is you got a better chance. You got a better chance of at least in what I've searched. Now I'm not, I guess maybe it might depend on if I'm looking at some pants. Bro, don't look at no clothes. I'm telling you on social media, bro, because you are going to be flooded. So yeah, that's true. That is true. I hear what you're saying, Jacob. Thanks for chiming in, brother. But yeah, man. So what's your experience so far with AI? I know you have because you've been doing some intense. I don't want to let that out yet because you've been doing some like crazy research, man, on stuff.
Yeah.
But let's just go. Let's just talk about like just at the peripheral. How has this affected like what you're doing, just on a personal level, before we get to the grand, the big question?
Well, I put it like this: like my brother contacted me like a few years ago, and he was like, "Hey, man, I got a list of songs, and I kind of want to get back into playing. So, I was trying to see if you can make instrumental versions of all of these songs, and I was like, okay, he was like, I'll pay you so and such this amount of money, and I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. So I got started, man, and I got started, and I was doing the songs, and this is me, going back, and in some cases I'm researching, okay, I know that's the DX7 keyboard, so I go back and pull that up, like, a Najee song or something. And so I got down the list, like probably halfway down the list, and he was paying me, and then like all of a sudden, he was just like, hey man, I'm good, man. Like I was just like, okay, you don't want me to do the rest of the song? He's just like, well, man, this like this AI stuff, I'm seeing how I can it's
you lost the gig. You lost the gig, man. You lost the gig to AI.
Yeah, because one of his students at his school, like my brother was playing the track. He was just like, how you? He's like, he's like, how you do this? How you get the? That sounds like AI. And my brother was like, no, what you mean? This is my. He's like, my brother did this. Like he knows how to listen and do all the tracks. He's just like, well, you can do the same thing with AI. You know what I'm saying? And like he went and showed my brother how you can like pull up a track and just take the vocals out, and there's your instrumental. Like my brother was just, like I like this little boy.
Oh my God. Oh, that's hilarious, man. Oh.
Yeah, man. Oh. Little boy made me lose my gig. Man. Yeah.
Man, it's a cold-blooded world, man. It's a cold-blooded world. That's hilarious, man. That's hilarious.
Oh. Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is okay. And then that was like my first, and that was like 2 years ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, that's the beginning of, dang, like like people do that. Like some people do that. Like as a they just remake classic songs, and and sell them. It's like under the table, but they sell like arrangements of like classic
man,
songs, and it's like
yeah,
that just AI knocks that out just immediately. Like it's so easy to strip the vocals out.
That's man, that's crazy. I know there's a lot of I got duped. I might have sent it to you. I might have sent it to you. I heard some track, man. And man, it was so funny. And but it was like this sort of because it sounded like 1970, like 1978.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like it was still had that modern touch on it. So similar to the Young Gun Silver Fox stuff that I sent you yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I was like, man, who produced this? Man, who's I'm trying to find who played on it, everything.
Man.
I'm like, man, the drums, the feel, like everything was just like beautiful, had the fat tongue sound, the deep snare. Like I was like, who did this, man? So I'm like online like, trying to find, and I went to Reddit and I put the artist in. I can't remember the fake artist name, but I put it in and there was all of this stuff about is so and so real, and then it's like, oh, this is AI,
Yeah.
But I was like, I like this better than what what some of these other people. I was like, man, this is how's it go? If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. Can't be with the one you love the one you're with. All those little sayings.
Right.
Because that I was like, this is way better than what these other folks are spitting out because they don't know anything about music.
Right.
Just like you said yesterday when we were talking, you got a laptop and what else? I can't remember what you said, man. It was funny though. You said they got a laptop and what'd you say? You talking about? I don't know. You talking about just how music is produced now and
Oh yeah, laptop and Fruity Loops, and I think that's what I was saying.
Fruity Loops and a laptop. Fruity Loops and a laptop.
Yeah, man. Like the thing about me is like I've extensively studied like all of that stuff from the 70s, how to get that type of sound and everything. And it's like, after all of that, like it's just like the press of a button, like you can get those types of sounds. And the way I see it going in the future, I mean, like you talking about hip hop with sampling. I mean, if you think about if people like now you can strip somebody's whole drum track out, and recreate a new track over that. And it's just like, who's gonna be able to tell that, like you and that's like any song, like.
Well, is that any different than me copying a if I'm doing a tune and if I'm recording something and I'm looking for either an idea or an inspiration and I remember, I remember let me go check out that Spankly right quick because I think I like that. Is that any different than me taking Mike Clark's groove off of Spankly and putting it on whatever the track is that I'm playing on? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. Hang on. Daryl is muted. So,
No. It's
there you go.
my phone is doing that for some reason, but I
Oh,
didn't.
okay. All right. That's
I
all
didn't
good.
touch
All
it.
good.
It's
But
yeah.
so is that any different?
I wouldn't like. Nah, not so much. I mean, like it's, but you like. I mean, if you're taking like Mike Clark's actual drums, out and like that, then like that's crazy. You know what I mean? But as far as
Mhm.
like being inspired by it and just like going back and playing the same kind of groove, and I mean, I wouldn't say it's that different. It's just that like now you're dealing with the actual like master copyright, of somebody's stuff. Like you can do things that I mean, it's crazy
Yeah.
like what you can do if you really think about it. And I think like most people haven't really gotten to the point of thinking about doing it that way. But I'm just saying like we've gone from like we sample little snippets of songs and it has all the background stuff in it to now it's just like, okay, if I want my kick drum to sound a certain way now, all I have to do is I can just go and take the kick out of this song and
Mhm.
I can play my own stuff, but then go with sound replacer and set it up where I can use select hits from that into this, that kind of thing. So that's one way of doing it. Um, and I suspect like in the future, like in the very near future, you're going to be able to do things like, okay, play your set, but then it's like, okay, now replace all my drums with the drums from this recording, and it'll probably be able to synthesize it in a way where it sounds totally natural, to everything. Like just replace I can see that coming with the AI thing. So it's just as far as being creative, I think like being creative sonically, I think it's going to be crazy what you can do, what's coming. But at the same
Right.
time, I mean, it's going to be a lot of one. If people find out, like, oh man, this dude took the drums from the Beatles and made a whole new album, that kind of thing. It's probably going to be a new era of
Well,
trouble.
there's already, the cloning thing is already here. You
Mm-hmm.
can I can't remember when the first time I somebody showed me uh how to, if you just tell whatever, I don't think it was Chat GBT, it was something like that, but it was where you could just say, I want to make a song this way in this style with this subject, yada yada yada, and then boom, there it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
and I was this is like a few years ago, but I didn't believe it, man. I was like, I said, this is you can't do that. Like he's like, I
Yeah.
just did it. He's like, I just did it. What you want me to do another one? Like it was like that kind of like we were just like, I was in disbelief, man, of
Right.
and how in the world are you going to be able to police that? Like, I mean, I know Tyrone has talked about dealing with this like on a university level, right, with his students and like papers and yada yada yada, and they have whatever that detect the software to detect if the student is using AI or not. But
Mm-hmm.
let's take it to an arts level,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember when sampling first started.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the early days of Sugar Hill Gang, which Rapper's Delight, was a collaboration between, they were using the Chic, Good Times tune, right?
Right.
And I remember, man, the first time I heard that, I heard it was like what they would call a mashup now, but it was like, and I would wait. It was like every Saturday night we would pick up. I could pick up the station out of Chicago. I believe it was WGCI, if I remember correctly. But they would play whatever the hottest like dance music was at that time. It's probably about 70. Good Times is what, 78, 77, 78, something like that. I can't remember.
79.
So I'm like 8. Yeah. So, but I remember.
Oh no, it's before that. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to. They used to have a version, the long version, where they would play Chic. They would play the whole tune, Good Times. But then Rapper's Delight would come on and be tacked on to it afterwards.
Yeah.
And then they would go back into, and it, man, that blew my mind at the time because I had never heard anybody rapping before. It was, but it was in probably what my favorite song at the time, which was Good Times, and so, but then later, as you get into like the 80s and Run DMC and Grandmaster Flash and the early days of hip, and these cats are like sampling mostly James Brown stuff, right?
Right, yeah.
And there's no repercussions though, right? There's no like at that time, cats were just, you could just take whatever you wanted, and then slowly but surely guys started speaking up. Hey man, that's my music. You got to pay me for that, right? So then cats are having to start to pay for that. So there's a progression there, right? Do you think there's going to be a progression for this? Like how? I mean, I don't know how you police somebody stealing. You talking about individual tracks? How do you even? Right, Clyde. I mean,
that's crazy.
We all know. Look, we all know Clyde Stubblefield should be a billionaire at this point, right? For all the people that have sampled Clyde Stubblefield grooves, right? So, but how are you going to? I'm thinking it's just like everything else, man. They're going to catch up to it, but right now it's kind of like the wild west, man. You don't know what's coming from where, so
because it's like I could take some James Brown drums, just strip out the drums. If I play new instruments over it, and then I bounce that down as a master out of, put that song out. Somebody has, they'll run that through AI, extract the instruments out again, but it's going to be different from the original. Like right now with like YouTube, for instance, they have Content ID. So Content ID, like if you upload, a song, the same song, onto another video or something, it can detect that, and it's gotten good where it can detect if you speed it up a little bit or if you slow it down a little bit, but that's like the Content ID, the waveform. That's a very signature waveform for the whole entire track. Now, I mean, I don't know, maybe one day they might start applying AI to Content ID, and they might have an algorithm that separates the tracks, so then they can detect maybe, but I doubt it. I really doubt it, because that kind of, that's going to take up data. Like that's going to take up more and more data to go through every song and then have a multi-track version of it. So I mean, it's possible, but it's just, I just don't see that happening. You know, like once you're able to take the sounds from somebody's recording and then play something else with it, like replay those sounds as if like you're playing somebody, like you're playing that drum set from that 1980 recording.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, what can anybody say? Like,
right.
They can say, well, you took the drums. It's just like, how can you prove it? Like I'm not playing the same rhythm anymore.
Yeah. But that, I mean, since you brought up drums, I guess I think about that and I'm kind of like, is that so? What is that like? What would you even call that? Would you call that like copyright sound infringement? What would you even like? What? How would you even word that as a as an example of fraud? Like, I mean, okay, so well, I was going to say, like, there's like a lot of cats that, and I don't, this probably their game is probably over too. This game is probably over too, where they were doing like the sampler packs, right? So like, get, we were talking about Omar Hakim, great drummer Omar Hakim yesterday, and so Omar Hakim could do, he's with Pearl, right? So they're actually there is I forget what it's called, man, because my boy did one, but they're called like sampler. So a cat will go in with a kit resembling, or let's just use Omar as an example, right? So let's say Omar's drums, let's say he has the drums from the 1983 Weather Report tour. Let's just use as an example. Hey Omar, you still got the drums from yeah, I still got them. Well, come on in the studio, man, so we can record them and then we can sell them, and we can sell the sounds as as samples. Oh, okay, cool. So that's one way of saying, okay, he's doing all of the work. It's his drums, it's his sound. Whatever company he's using is, putting that on a WAV file and bundling it and selling it. So there's intellectual property there, right? Now, what you're talking about is using AI to sample the same drums, right? And take his sounds without paying for them. This is interesting, man.
Right.
Think about all the identifiable sounds like Jocko, or like, ooh, you want to sound like Jocko? Well, here's his tone. It used to be where, man, you had to put so many hours into trying to figure out, how did this cat tune it? How did they get this Rhodes to sound like, what amp were they going through? Like all of those things that you did for your record, right? For your last record, all those things that if I listen to something and I want, sometimes you can identify, you can say, well, that's probably like an Acrolite, or that's a Supra, or that's a, you kind of have maybe you have some idea, but so then it's like, okay, well, let me listen to but you're doing the work to get that, right? So I don't see a way, man, where you can police, just because, first of all, these kids aren't that savvy, man. They're not going to take the time, and we probably won't have either. Daryl, think about it, bro. If this had been around, I'm just playing devil's advocate, right? If this had been around, bro, you'd have been using. Would you or would you not have been using it?
Oh yeah, it wouldn't have been. Man, it would have just been like, hey, we can do it. Like, who's not gonna? You know, that's too tempting. Like, you're gonna go straight forward, and it's just like I can already see how I can get away with it, you know, without it being like a thing, because it's like, okay, yeah, all you got to do is just switch some things around, and you know, and it becomes yours. Like, so, I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm not advocating for it, but I'm just saying, like, since it's possible, like, the curiosity, you know, to try to do it and then to see it work, you know, it's just, you know, somebody's gonna want to take that. I mean, AI itself is already doing that. It's already taking copyrighted material and it's being trained on that material, and you know, trained to come up with something similar, something else. So it's like, you know, what we're doing is just using it as a tool to further just, you know, further advance that process, I guess, you know. Excuse me. Shoot, I gotta sneeze. But yeah, like, as far as them policing it, I think it's wild west, because there's so many infinite ways in which you can flip things now, use things, and there's some identifiable sounds that, I mean, some stuff you're not going to be able to get away with, like, because it's just, you know, too identifiable, especially like vocal things, vocal samples and stuff like that, or just certain samples that are so distinct, like, you know it as soon as you hear it. There's one sample that that they used to use in early hip hop, especially like Tribe Called Quest. I can't think of it right now, but it was like a guitar sample or something that sounded kind of like an alarm almost. Man. There's some things that are too distinct, but then there are other things that, like, I can go, like, right now, I can go get the drums. I can get Art Blakey drums and then go get a separate recording of a bass player like Ray Brown, and I can mash that up. Like, if they're both playing a blues, I can mash that up and line it up to where it sounds like they're playing together. Like, create a whole other, you know, thing. Like, if I wanted to, like, you know, I mean,
and then you play over it, and it's your tune,
right? Right. Yeah, man, that's possible now. Like, and I could get, you know, Kenny Kirkland playing piano or something and add him over that.
Yeah, and you're right, man. How many people would know? Like,
right.
I mean, there's an infinite amount of blues recordings, so you don't. You could be like, man, that can't sound like so and so, and you'd be like, well, as a matter of fact,
man.
Matter of fact, it is him.
And then, like, now another thing is that I heard yesterday, because, you know, I'm thinking, well, jazz, you know, like, AI got a long way to you know, get to playing some jazz stuff, because, you know, like, I can see all this other, you know, stuff, but like horn players and all that kind of thing, I was like, man, it's gonna be a while, because I had been looking for it. Man, yesterday I came across a channel, like, it's corny, but it's still like straight ahead, like it had an improvisation, all of that, like, and the form the songs, like it was the trumpet sounded a little fake, but the tenor saxophone sounded a little fake, but for the most part, it sounded real. Like it's this whole channel. I think it's retro. It's retro something, but
this is a YouTube
it
channel.
had like all these, huh? What's the channel?
YouTube? Is this a YouTube? No, don't tell. I was just saying, is this a YouTube, like a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a YouTube channel, and they have like all these 1950s themed visuals over like basically hard bop type of jazz.
Oh, I've seen stuff similar to that.
It's called AI retro jazz.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm listening to the improv, and I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. So the thing is, and I did like ask Chat GPT about it. And I mean, it comes down to the fact that it's like, okay, well, as far as background music, like these playlists that create background music, like that's over with. Like for instance, like lo-fi hip hop, lo-fi beats, that became a thing. You know, Will Smith talked about that was his favorite music, like lo-fi hip hop jazz or something like that. And that was a thing a few years ago. But that music can easily be made by AI. And so like you can make a whole playlist of that stuff from AI. And the thing is the listeners of it, that the function of those playlists is to play in the background while somebody's studying or reading or whatever.
Right.
So like they never check out who the artist is anyway. You know, so like nobody is like, oh man, you know, it's not that type of music. Right. It's just kind of functional, like background tracks, and they have jazz playlists that are like that too. So it's like that's what's messed up about it. The fact that like real musicians need those playlists, even if it's kind of playlists where nobody's gonna know who you are. You still need that to, you know, get some revenue coming in, you know, some income.
Right.
And now that's been taken up by AI. So at the end of the day, the only thing that we have is us still wanting to experience the human, you know, like human beings doing it. Like our live shows are, you know, that's the goal now, because somebody can come out and actually see a real human do something. You know, versus like everywhere you're going, whatever's in the background, it's like has something to do with AI.
Right.
Like that at the end of the day, it's like to see like the talent of a real human being right in front of you, like somebody to do something amazing. That's all we got left at this point. You know, because I don't, you know, once people like there's a group, like an AI group that was on Spotify or something. And I think like AI groups get banned on Spotify now or something like that. I think, but they had like a whole group, and they had pictures and everything up, and people started to like realize that it was AI. And you know, but for a while, like for like a few months, I think nobody was realizing it was AI, and it's just like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So like, you know, but I mean, you know, human beings, I'm trusting that human beings are gonna want to, like, it's a novelty thing when it's just like, oh, I can just press a button and create a band. To me, because that's not what people are gonna be attracted to. You can't be a fan of some robots, and I mean you can, but
no, man.
For how
a lot of robot looking people walking around that got millions and millions of followers.
Oh man.
I mean, I just think we got a lot of things are just vastly out of proportion. right now. So
Mhm.
it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. But you know, this is a killer subject that we'll continue with. Maybe we'll continue with this on Tuesday night on our regular show and talk about it some more. I think whatever is gonna happen, I think we just need to continue to study it, because that's the thing, is like it and don't act like it's not there, because it's here. And there are some things that, man, AI is going to replace those things. And
Yeah.
So you kind of got to know where you stand in the pecking order of that,
Yeah.
depending on what it is that you do for a living, or et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, man. So, well, cool. Well, this was a good start to this conversation. Thanks for everybody for coming in. We're gonna do some more daytime shows. I like the daytime show personally. I like it. Noon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so we're gonna do some more of this stuff. And try to do maybe a couple times a week or something like that. And we'll see how, or if we just feel like, we want to get on and talk about something, we'll get on and talk about it. But set your notification bell. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe and set your notification bell so you get the alert that we are going to have a show, because we are going to be doing a lot more of these pop-up shows, man. And I'm talking about various things. So with that, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, Instagram. We had some people that haven't seen in the show on a regular basis on our Tuesday thing. So thanks for coming in. Jacob Deaton, good to see you, my man. I haven't seen you in a minute. Tyler Neal, we got some regulars, John, that came in and we're hanging out with us. So but thanks again to everybody. And AI is here, guys. We gotta figure it out. How can it be an advantage? That's the thing. How can it be an advantage and all that stuff? So if you didn't see earlier, Frankie and I's clinic is coming up here. Introduction to Latin Rhythms. That's going to be at the Academy Theater in Hayfield, August 10th. So spread the word about that. And then our feedback show is coming up again with the students. That's going to be September 14th. And that again is going to be at the Academy Theater in Hayfield. So we got all kinds of good things going on. Daryl's involved in some cool things that we can't disclose yet, and we'll let him figure that out when he want to start talking about all that. But this cat is a study. He studies and is way ahead of a lot of people because of the hours of work that he puts in behind the scenes. Right. That's the thing, man, is everybody wants to post when like they're working, but how can you be working if you're posting? You're supposed to be working behind the scenes, and it's what people don't see, right? So this is that cat for sure. So we're glad to have him on board with us at Local Musicians XP. All right, man. Any last words?
Right. Man, I just say this, man. I had a gig. I was on a music video shoot of I'll just say it, man. I did a music video shoot with Glorilla.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
And I actually had to use AI to save the day there.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had some audio that got corrupted. And like I was just like, hold on, like I love it. Basically, it was this distorted audio that like 8 minutes of it. Man, I thought about it and I was just like, it's an AI program, like an AI. I have a membership to one of the AI programs. I can't think of it right now, but yeah, I loaded it up, pressed the button, that distortion was gone. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can use it for good, or it can be a detriment. Then right now we just gotta get this get on it, because it's like, hey, like it's gonna leave you behind if you don't pay attention to what's going on. Yeah. But yeah, that's all. That's what I've been kind of, dabbling in.
All right. Well, we'll hear more about that as we move along with this subject. But thanks for everybody for hanging out with us today. Set your notification bell, and because these daytime shows are going to start coming at you. So subscribe and become a part of our community. Don't be afraid to leave comments, ask questions, all that good stuff. We want to try to make this interactive. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. And we will see you guys next time.